What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome back to the Whole Lotta Bull podcast. I'm Troy. You can follow me on Twitter at Whole Lotta Bull, or you can follow me personally at Bulls_Troy. And before we get into it, let's hit you with this. Did you see that shit? Brought to you. Thank you to the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. And I know he's not going to agree with this, but the GOAT of Chicago sports media. That guy right down, sitting below me in field, is Haize. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I don't know about the GOAT of Chicago. I more so the I'm the ass of Chicago media because I'm an asshole to everybody, but you know it is what it is.
Also, hey man, we love it, especially when Petty Roosevelt comes out as well and cooks some of these fools.
I
And
do enjoy
also
Teddy
joining me
Roosevelt.
today is I'm probably gonna mess this up, but Philip Charles Vanderhayden the Fourth.
You actually nailed it, dude. That was perfect. That was perfect.
Beautiful, coming to us from just another year Chicago Bulls. Phil, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I really appreciate you having me on. I'm honored to be here. And Troy's been talking to me during this whole thing, during my whole journey. And so to be on with him during his return, even bigger return than D Rose's return. I'm honored to be here. So thank you, Troy. Appreciate you.
No, thank you both very much for helping me get the YouTube side of this underway. It's a big honor for me for you guys to join me. So thank you very much.
Thanks for
All
having
right,
us.
let's get this underway. How are we feeling about the Bulls lately? Especially, Josh Giddy still hasn't signed yet. Well, obviously, I've been watching you guys with your videos, so pretty much I'm caught up with how you guys are feeling. But hey, let's just shoot the shit in here. And how are we feeling? Phil, go with you first, man.
I'm feeling okay. So, I mean, considering that Brett Siegel just dropped that report that the Bulls and Giddy are closing in, or at least they expect to close in on a 3-year deal by the end of August, that makes me feel a lot better. Prior to that, I felt a lot worse about things. I'm hoping that what Brett Siegel dropped was true. I hope that we're closing in on some sort of deal with Josh Giddy. I hope that there's some compromise going on. Because once that gets done, I'm feeling much better. I think there's hope for the future. I think there's more hope today than there's been many years past. I mean, honestly, I think I have to go back to the Lauri Markkanen Bulls before I can tell you that there is as much hope from me for the future for the youth on the team. So I think there's hope. So we just got to get Josh Giddy signed. Sign Josh Giddy.
Absolutely, let's get that contract done finally. Haize, how you feeling, man?
I'm the place I'm at with the team is that I've come to the realization that we're going the more longer route to relevancy, but it's the more sustainable route. And I think that's something that a lot of Bulls fans are having problem reconciling with, is the fact that this isn't going to be a thing that you turn around in 1 or 2 years. It's going to take some time before the Bulls are consistently winning at the level that we want them to. Doesn't mean that they aren't going to be steadily improving, hopefully, but they're going the more longer term route. And I think this is what they always should have done. Like, this is what AK preached when he took over this team. We're gonna build organically, we're gonna take time, we're gonna develop, we're gonna do it through the draft. And then he immediately turned around and traded for 30-year-old Nikola Vucevic. And I'm not even a Vuce hater. I mean, Vuce came in here and he's basically done what you brought him in here to do. But I think now they're doing, like I said, the more sustainable route. If they nail this, which they still got to show, then the Bulls could have one of those teams that is contending and a good team for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And I think Bulls fans just need to practice a little patience and get there. I understand. I want us to stop losing too, but I think this is the right route that we're going right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as you asked, I was going to say exactly what you said. Like, finally, AK is going down the route he said he was going to do right from the start, like building it naturally through the draft process, And then obviously 6 months later, he goes and trades for Vooch, and then we end up with Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan. We get Lonzo Ball, which that team ended up being great for half a season. But no, it's good to see he's finally starting to do what he said he was going to do, 5 years ago. So now obviously we've got, he wants to obviously bring in all these young experienced pieces with, he's brought in Giddy, and obviously now, he's drafted Martis, he's drafted Noah Essengay, that we're finally going that route of developing young talent rather than just going, hey, let's just go straight to bringing in these older veteran pieces and try and win now at any cost.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it's good to see he's finally doing that. And I'll give my opinion on the Josh Giddy contract situation. Obviously, I'm being an Australian. Obviously, I want to see my guy get paid. And looking at that smile on your face, Phil. Yeah, you want your boy, our boy, signed as well. I could have understood why Josh absolutely wanted the $30 million per year. Like obviously we all know about the Jalen Suggs contract comparison and we can all say that Giddy's definitely better at Jalen Suggs in some aspects. Obviously not defensively. Jalen Suggs is a beast on the defensive end. But then you see like guys like Emmanuel quickly get these big contracts. I can completely understand why Josh wanted that kind of deal, which clearly he's not going to get. And I can also see why the Bulls want to go low. Like they finally learned from the Patrick Williams contract of giving him $90 million over 5 years. So where are you guys with that at the moment as far as Giddy's contract negotiations and how they're going, how they should be going? What do you guys want to see yourself? You go first, Haize.
I mean, at this point, I just want to see the deal get done. I mean, I don't have a certain number year in mind. I just want to see the deal get done because I do think Josh Giddy has a really good chance to develop further here and to keep becoming a better player. And, even if he doesn't get as much money up front, I do think that then if it's a shorter deal, he's gonna live up to that. He's gonna eventually get that and recoup that. So, I mean, at this point, I've talked so much about the rationale between lower or higher contract. At this point, just get the deal done so we can keep him here and let's keep developing this thing. Because at 22 years old, you tell me you can get a player that even at like the last full season that he was able to basically play his role, he was 16, 8, and 8. And people acting like that's not something that you can really build with. To me, I don't understand that because that is something you can absolutely build with. And so even at a minimum, 16, 8, and 8, I'll take that. But I think Josh Giddy has, as far as he has the upside to be a player that not only could be a hub on your offense and really run that offense, but he can make players better around him. And while we're in this period of time where development is going to be key, Josh Giddy is one of those guys that can help players develop. And so I just want to see the deal get done. Whatever it is, get it done. Let's keep him in the building and let's continue going down this path that we started down.
Absolutely, Phil.
Yeah, I think what Haize said is pretty much on point. I will say so as I'm a huge Josh Giddy fan. I want to see him get paid what he's worth, but at the same time, I think what Haize said about him being able to make that money up, I think that matters. I think that look, if Josh Giddy has to come down on his number in order to meet the Bulls somewhere in the 3-year range where he's making maybe 23 or 25 annually, but he's going to come back to the table sooner. I think that he's going to play himself into a contract that's more than $30 million a year because I do believe in Josh Giddy. I do believe in what he brings to the table. And like Haize said, I've heard some crazy opinions on the Josh Giddy thing. I had one guy tell me that he wasn't worth the qualifying offer. And that made me want to jump off of a bridge. So I just want to see the deal get done. I want to see him be a Bull. I hope that there's no hard feelings because, look, at the end of the day, it's just business. I will say that it's tough. If you're Josh Giddy, right, I could see him looking at the situation and being like, look, you went and you paid Patrick Williams and you went and you paid Nikola Vucevic without any thought or any piece of, any mindfulness to what they maybe would have gotten if you would have negotiated. But then with me, you negotiate. I understand that point of view, but that doesn't mean that we still shouldn't want the Bulls to grow, right? And this is them growing. This is them trying to be a better
Absolutely.
organization. And so I think there's a healthy medium there, a healthy middle to meet in the middle there. And I want to see the deal get done. And yeah, I think Josh Giddy will make up whatever he has to come down on in the meantime. I think he'll make that up definitely, because I think that he's like Haize said, 16-8-8. I think that's actually like I actually see that as like a minimum for Giddy. I think that he's capable of averaging a triple double. I really do.
For sure.
So I don't know if you bank on that if you're Josh Giddy, but I'm saying that like if he has to come down on that number to get to a deal, he's going to come back to the table in a few years. He's going to get paid, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the fact that like you guys were saying, 16-8-8 can be his minimum going forward. Like he's only got room for so much more development to go. Like we've seen in that video clip that I was able to share from his workout with Dyson Daniels and Lockie Aldrich, and I think Johnny Furphy, a bunch of other Australian players were there from the NBA, plus some NBL players as well. Where you see that jump shot, especially his 3-point shot, is looking a lot faster. And then that fading three he took in that first part of that video is like you can see things developing. So if that actually translates to the NBA now, also we know workout videos and stuff, they're just workout videos, but it shows what these players have been working on during the off season. So hopefully some of that can start to actually translate back into the NBA game. But if that does translate, and he starts hitting, and he can keep that 3-point shot at that 38% he shot last season, and it's a quicker release than the other, and the defenders have to respect him a lot more on the perimeter. That's going to create so much more, not just for himself. And now Haize, I know you found that stat where he was in the 98th percentile of creating open shots for teammates. Was that right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that doesn't always translate to assists because you've got to make the shot. But if he becomes much more of a threat in that aspect of the game, where his 3-point shot, you've got to come out and respect him. But now it opens up his driving lanes. Those assist numbers can go up because now they've got to collapse in him. That's going to probably create even more open shots for the team, for the other guys on the Bulls on the floor with him. These numbers, that triple double is not out of reach.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. I mean, averaging a triple double is a very, very special place to be in, right? Like it's only happened a few times. Russ has done it a couple of times, but I don't like he can do it. I do think that he can do it, but I don't think that he doesn't have to sustain it. He doesn't have to average a triple double every single year for him to be extremely effective. I think Josh Giddey's one of those players that, as the team gets better, he'll probably be the first to tell you, like, the scoring load is coming off of him is something that he probably wants to happen. Like, Josh Giddey can score. And I think that's another underrated part of Josh Giddey's game because of how he was used in OKC. People, like, just automatically doubt his ability to score. Josh Giddey can score. It's not the most fluid, right? It's not the most fluid scoring that you'll see out there, but he can get it done. And as his shots improved every single year, that shows that he's putting in work. And people who put in work to get that done those are the type of players you should want on your team. But he's always a triple-double threat. Like when you watch the way he plays the game, I was in a conversation with somebody, shout out to Casual Kelder, that he was like, well, his rebounds aren't that meaningful because he's not fighting for them. I'm like, are you stupid? And that's not just against Kelder, but this is the type of arguments that people make against things. It's like, sure. I have never seen, like, I've seen people hate on players before, but I've never seen a player that produces and people are then trying to find ways on why that production doesn't matter. And that's where the conversation has gone with Josh Giddey. It's so weird to me because for the longest, the Bulls have had players that have not been productive. We're looking at one in Patrick Williams getting paid $18 million who has not produced. And so now we're having a player that is producing numbers, and because he's not the most athletic player, we're doubting him producing those numbers. It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
No, it's crazy, especially when you compare it to Patrick Williams at the moment, who you forget he's even on the floor when he is out. Like you don't notice him at all, and when he actually does do something, like, oh shit, Pat's out there. Like, oh shit, go Pat, what on? Like you do have a heartbeat. Like,
Yeah.
it's so disheartening with Pat and like probably to circle it back a little bit on Giddy's contract negotiations. Like when you see Patrick Williams last year just get the 5-year $90 million without hesitation from AK, and then they want to play this hardball with Josh, which again I completely understand. Like they've learned the lesson, but from Josh's point of view, it's a bit like, hey, like fine, yes, I've only been here for a year, and people can go on all they want about the last 20 games where he really showed his abilities. But that's when you also got Zach LaVine out the way as well. So him, Kobe, Martis were able to show more of their game because they didn't have Zach LaVine, being that ball dominant player and wanting to run the show. Phil, how you going, man?
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. I really like what you brought up about Josh Giddy's apologies, I lost my train of thought. But no, what you said about Patrick Williams and him getting paid, it has to be tough for Giddy. But oh, I remember what I was going to say now. Who said, you said Keller said that Josh Giddy wasn't fighting for rebounds?
Yeah, bro. It's we don't need to get hung up on things Kelder says.
Okay.
Like, that's the last
Okay,
thing you
I
need to
don't
get
want-
hung up on.
I don't want to get hung up on the person, but like, does anyone watch the game? Because I'm watching this dude rise and rip over dudes that are way more athletic than him. He's boxing out for every. Like when you're the level of athlete Josh Giddy is, and I'm not dissing the level of athlete he is because he's a much better athlete than me, but he's playing on the court with much better athletes than him, and so like he's busting his ass for every rebound. I don't know what. Like it's hard for him to get rebounds. So for him to out rebound Vucevic after the All-Star break, that's pure effort. That's pure heart. That's pure hustle. Like I don't know. People will just say anything to discredit Josh Giddy, and I think what you said, Haize, about him as an athlete, I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Is I think people see Giddy, and because he's not jumping out of the gym, like they want to discredit everything he does, or they want to say that limits the impact that he has. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need to be able to jump out of the damn gym to have an impact on a basketball game. I know that that's an insane take in 2025 when everybody's super athletic, but like basketball IQ matters, being crafty matters, and Josh Giddey's a master at that.
Like obviously, and going into that whole athletic thing, like Josh isn't the most aesthetically pleasing with his body movements as well. Like even I can watch some of his stuff and go, like, yeah, he does look like he's a bit clumsy or sometimes something like that at times. So he's not the most athletically pleasing. But getting back to Kelder real quick. Now, I know we were on. I think Phil, me, and you were in the Discord just before we hopped on, and so shout out to the guys at Bulls HQ. Guilty if you're watching this, keep running that show beautifully, man. Like you're doing a hell of a job. I'm reading it now on the Discord here. He said it's about 40 minutes ago. He said this. He's not bad. I just don't see the point in investing in decent talent before you get a true building block. And my response to him, and I don't think he even
Wait, he
saw it.
said that?
Yeah, he said that.
That is and then he wonders why I call him Casual Kelder. That's so stupid. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
So, and then my response to him, which I don't think he's seen it, but so I said, if you're building a new house, and I've used this building a house analogy a few times. If you're building a new house, no point working out what timber or steel you want for the frame of your house before you put down the concrete slab, right? I mean, you can start to build your roster with pieces that will fit your long term before you get your foundational superstar player.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing I've said with the whole, building a house or building like anything in construction. Like you go to houses like, and fine, this is me with my transport job and stuff that I was in as a driver before I moved into the office. You go to houses and you've got all the timber frame there ready to go. The concrete slab's not even down yet. Right. So and that's why I use that analogy with building a team. Like you can get the players that will fit what a team that you want to build before you have that superstar player that makes it all work and you're off to the races to contend. I mean, now I know you guys, especially you, Haize, will call me out if I'm ever tripping on something. Does that sound stupid to you?
No, what you're spot on. Like, here's the thing: the people that think that you, and I talked about this on my show today. People legitimately think, oh, you just if they're not a star yet, let's just keep sending them off and then wait until we get a star. And to me, you always want players to develop in structure, right? You don't, if you can only develop, and this was one of my arguments against Patrick Williams, if you can only develop when there's no other talent on the team, that's how you end up investing in an empty calorie score or stat guy or whatever it is. You should want a framework. For example, the Dallas Mavericks didn't say, all right, let's get rid of Kyrie, let's get rid of AD, let's get rid of Derrick Jones Jr. Oh, let's get rid of all these guys because we got Cooper Flag coming here. No, you want to hold on to talent when you have those guys. I know those guys have accomplished a lot different than the Bulls have, but you want your young players to develop in a structure. You want them to have to learn how to play the game of basketball. Most NBA players, if nobody's there and somebody got to take the shots, I guarantee you a lot of NBA players that we wouldn't think could average 20 if they're on a team with no talent. I want to see my players develop on a team that has some level of talent, regardless of what that level is, have that level of talent so they can develop with that structure. They can actually play the game of basketball the right way. And then as that player ascends, you can figure out who you need to keep, who you don't need to keep, who fits around that player. That whole mindset that people have is just, it's so stupid to me. And I don't get why people have that. But you know what? It's 2K rot. 2K brain rot is what a lot of people have when it comes to basketball building.
Yep, absolutely. Now, people seem to think that, in 2K you can put together a team and it just works like as well as it's going to work because it's computer analogies and all that sort of shit. That's not real life. That's not how this shit works. You can still get all the pieces that can actually fit together, but it still takes actual time for it to come together and work. They've all got to come in and learn the coach's system. They've all got to learn each other's tendencies, where their spots are on the court, and just get to know each other. Like that shit is not 2K. You just
Absolutely,
kind of
man.
just throw it all together and works.
Absolutely, and honestly, like a good example of an empty calories guy, or like a guy that developed, or that if everybody would have just taken what he did on this team, like at face value, based on nothing around, not paying attention to what was around him or lack thereof, is like Spencer Dinwiddie is a great example, because like on bad teams, that dude was a star. That dude was filling it up on those teams, right? Like he was. I think at one point he was averaging like a double-double, or I think he might have even made an all-star game. I could be wrong about that. But I know that he
Making an all-star game.
I think it was on the Nets. He was really, really, really good. And then, but like, you put Spencer Dinwiddie on a team with talent, around him, and all of a sudden, okay, yeah, he's not that guy anymore because there's guys around him that could take that load off of him. So I don't think there's any one way that you could build a team. Like I that's another thing I hate about some fans is subscribing to one way to building a team. There's many different ways to build a team. There's many different ways to win. There's not just one. And so whatever way you take to get there is, as long as it works. But yeah, I mean, you don't just let talent walk off of your team just because they might not be a top 3 player on a championship team. Like that whole argument's so stupid too. Like get rid of Josh Giddy because he wouldn't be a top 3 player on a championship team. First of all, says who? And second of all, like,
how do you know?
And well, the thing is people act like we didn't see finals where JJ Barea cooked LeBron James for the Mavericks to win the title.
Yes, sir. Jason Terry as well.
It's so situation. The mindset that people have of, you can never win a championship with that guy being on your team. It's like, have you looked at some of the players that have been on championship teams and actually have played really good roles? We just saw Tony Bradley in the finals play good minutes, quality minutes in a final series.
A couple years ago, he was getting picked up and dragged out the club by Steven Adams.
That's what I'm saying. Those arguments are so binary and they're so toxic and dumb that they're just to highlight somebody. It's there to reaffirm somebody's already negative point. And in objectivity, go and look at some of the players that have started on some championship teams, and you'll realize, hey, yeah, Kobe's better than some of these guys, like those type of things. So like, you gotta chill on that one, man.
Nah, for sure. All right, let's move on to Midas. I reckon he's probably our player at the moment who looks like who's. You're rubbing your hands together. Phil, you ready for this
I
conversation?
love this guy. Love this guy.
Oh man, I love him too, man. I can't wait to see how he develops in year two. Man, he has what everyone calls that dog in him. And if if only, and I don't want, I'm not gonna, let's not turn this into a Patrick Williams conversation. So I'm just gonna make this comment and leave it at that. If Patrick Williams had half the dog mentality in him that Midas does, he would be potentially a star player in this league. But let's not go down the Patrick Williams rabbit hole. I'll leave it at that. Midas Buzelis, how are we feeling about Midas?
Go ahead, Haize.
Oh, come on now. You guys know I love Modest Buzelis. Modest has the type of not only mindset that it makes you love a player because he's competitive as hell. He has the talent, he has the drive. And the thing is that there's a lot of people, or there's sometimes players that come in with Modest's mindset, but it's because they have dominated up until that point and they don't necessarily keep up that level of competition. The reason I love Modest is because he has the mindset that he wants to be the best, but he wants to be the best because he knows he's willing to put in the work to be better than anybody that's in front of him. And that's what I love about Modest. Like, he's still raw, and you know, I think that in some of the conversation around Modest has turned into people looking at who he could be and having that conversation as if he's already that. He's not yet. He has a lot that he needs to grow and develop, but the difference is that I trust that he's going to maximize on that potential because of the work ethic that he has. Like, the dude's been in the gym all in Chicago. Like, people don't know this, but like, Modest has been hooping up people in Chicago all season long. Like, he's been running open courts in Chicago. Like, it's great to hear that type of thing. Like, so I love who and the person that Modest is. The player that he is, of course, makes me love him even more. But like, it's been a long time between we had the mix of raw talent, personality, and drive in a player that you can look at and say, damn, that guy really could be the best player on this team in a couple of years.
Yeah, Midas has that dog, that killer in him, and man, I can't wait to see where he's going. Like, he's got so much. The potential is through the friggin' roof, and like you said, Haize, he's going to do absolutely everything. Like, he's going to maximize that potential. Whatever the ceiling on that may be, he's going to maximize it. Bill?
Yeah, I mean, you guys said it, man. I think that's what, for me, that's why I'm so far in on Matas Buzelis. And if he has that potential in him to be an alpha player on this team, I think that he will realize it because, like you guys, he has that perfect combination. It's like a perfect storm of talent, of character, of like just personality makeup. Like, for him to come in and say, like, I want Billy Donovan to coach me hard, and then to receive that. And I mean, Billy was pulling him for everything, dude. My dad started calling him Captain Hook because he was like, pulling him for every little thing that Matas did wrong. And Matas never one time complained. He just took that coaching and just kept rolling with it. And then eventually earned that starting position. And then, so I really believe in Matas. And that's also why I really believe in the Giddy and Matas pairing, because I think that Giddy, as that elite facilitator and playmaker, is going to be able to maximize what Matas is able to do on the court. And once they get a real great feel for each other in the open court, watch out, man. Like,
oh yeah,
it's going to be ugly. And don't let Noah Essengay be the same way on the fast break, because it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice, man. I can only pray if Noah Essengay has the same type of mindset as Matas, then we might be in for something special here in Chicago. And I know that Bulls fans, they might cringe when I say that because it's been very ugly for us. But I think that we're drafting the right kind of guys. We're drafting the right type of players. And I feel like the character on this team right now is much higher than it's been in many years in Chicago. And I believe in these young cats. I do.
Yeah, Modest is the perfect, like, dog, determined athlete with grit. That's Modest Buzelis. There you go.
Yeah, and like, can you imagine, like, once like Noah starts getting some real court time as well, and we'll get into Noah probably after we finish with Martis. But can you imagine, like, Josh Giddy on the break, Martis and Noah running the lanes, and like, is like basically throw the ball up and which one of you is going to go get it. As long as it doesn't turn into a Torrey Craig, Andre Drummond situation.
You know what though? The worst part about that, like the thing, even if that happened with Modest and Noah Essegay, one of them still gonna finish the dunk. Like how two of you touch it and still don't finish the dunk? That's the problem.
Oh man, I'm having flashbacks to that play, and damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sweet though, man. I'm really excited to see them on the break together because I think that they got something special going on. The fast break is gonna be where the Bulls make their living in the coming years.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the way it's going to be with how Josh is going to be able to break down the offense and find these guys, even in the half court. I mean, Martis is developing that 3-point shot. Hopefully, down the line when Noah starts to get some real court, because obviously we're assuming that Noah's going to get the Martis treatment with limited minutes to start with, and he's going to build it up slowly. Which, to come back to Martis on that part for a second, I mean, I was one of those guys at the start of the season where it was, to be frank, giving me the shits that Billy wasn't playing Martis more, because like to me, I was like, let's play the kid. He's our number 11 pick. Just play him and let him learn and develop. Let him fuck up and make mistakes. But at the same time, that coming towards the end of the season when Martis, he had those conversations with Billy, saying, and Martis appreciated what Billy was doing. That gave me a whole new gave me a different perspective on that. So, I mean, now I'm okay with the whole how it started for Martis, and obviously as it started. But yeah, I was definitely one of those guys when Martis wasn't getting the minutes. I'm like, play the kid, let him learn, let him make mistakes. But and also, so how did you guys see the way that Billy brought him on throughout the season rather than just going throw him in the deep end?
Honestly, like I really at first I was on the same board as same plane as you, Troy, where I was like play this dude, like play him, because to me, like we weren't winning, and it was like it's not going to be any worse if you just play this kid and let him mess up. But maybe like you said, like I started to come around to a different line of thinking on all of that, and actually it ultimately brought me around on Billy D, because like prior to last season, man, I was so done with Billy Donovan. But how he dealt with Matas and how Matas responded to it, and then also I guess what guys like Io Dosumu were saying about Billy, like calling him his guy. Like he'd be like on his vlog, he's like, "This is my guy." I'm like, "Oh, like you guys love Billy Donovan, and you guys are responding to Billy Donovan." So, for all that I had negative to say about Billy, he got to this young roster. He clearly was able to reach them, and all the young guys on our team last year, except for Patrick Williams, really took a step. So I'm back. I'm back in on Billy Donovan. I'm willing to let his process play out before I cast ultimate judgment. Unlike last year, where I was like the whole season, I was like, dude, play Maltas. But it ended up in a good spot. So hey, who am I? I'm gonna let Billy do his thing this year.
Yeah, when it comes to like the slow burn of, I understand it. I do think that there was a point in time where, and it didn't go long. Like I understand you're not going to throw a rookie out in the deep end. It's not going to happen under Billy Donovan. It is what it is. I come to that, but I do think there was probably a week or two where it was clear that Patrick Williams wasn't bringing it in and Modest was ready, and it took about 2 weeks. By the time I came to that, I was like, hey, it's time. It's just time. 2 weeks later, he was starting, so I can't really knock him so much for that. I think that there's an intention behind it, and as long as there's an intention, then I'm cool with it. Like there have been times, whether it was with Dalen or whatever, that it just seemed like Billy forgot about the rookies. I don't feel like that was the case with Modest. I feel like there was that, hey, I'm gonna go out, you're gonna have a short leash to start off with, and then how you deal with that, we're gonna increase the length of that leash as the season goes on, and that's exactly what happened. That type of thing, I'm not mad at. If they do that same thing with Noah Essengay, I'm not mad at it at all. I'm only have concerns when it feels like Billy Donovan has forgotten about his rookies. And I think really when you go back and look at it, like, if we can go through it, like Io played early into his career. Dalen didn't. We talked about that. Marko Simonovic was just ass, so he didn't play at all. Even Julian Phillips was on pace to play 65 games before he went down with injuries rookie year. So I think there's more proof that Billy, and he did very much the same thing he did with Modest. People just forget it because Julian got hurt. Julian was playing 6 minutes, 8 minutes, and then by the time he went down with injury, he was playing double-digit minutes. So I think now that Billy understands, hey, we're prioritizing the development of these young guys. I think he has a plan for it, and I'm willing to wait that out. I'm willing to accept that as long as that plan continues to be there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I think Billy's obviously got a certain plan in place. He obviously had that plan in place for Martis to, like you said, give him that slow burn, give him those short spurts on the court, and when he makes mistakes, pull him out and actually explain it to him like, this is what you did wrong. This is what you're going to do on next time this situation happens. And obviously, and Martis clearly is a sponge, and took that all on board and learned from it. And Martis is going to continue to develop with that. And I think next season, we're probably going to see, obviously, Martis is going to be probably at the starting 4 position as opposed to the 3. But I think, where do you guys see Martis potentially, as far as his role being the alpha, like in terms of the offensive output? Where do you guys see him being next season? Like number 1 option, 2 option?
Go ahead, Haize.
I don't think Modest, what I think as a starter averaged about 11 shots per game. I see that going up to maybe 13, 14. I still think Kobe, Giddy, even Vooch are probably going to get more shots than him to start off with, and that's fine. Again, Modest has to become more efficient. I think if Modest shows that he's more efficient and Billy Donovan doesn't put more on him there, then again we'll start having those questions on, okay, what is Billy seeing out there? But I think while Modest is still working on the efficiency aspect of it, you're going to see 2, maybe 3 players ahead of Modest in the pecking order offensively.
For sure. Phil?
I would like to see him take the secondary scoring role behind Kobe, but I think that's probably unrealistic with Vucevic still here.
That's true.
I just don't see can you see Vooch being like, yeah, take a back seat? Vooch gets mad if he's not getting his shots in, so he gets mad out there on the court. It's one thing I noticed about Vooch. He slams the ball a lot against the.
You got to feed the big man.
Yeah. He wants to be fed. Yeah. So, I think that's the thing. But like Hayes said, I think maybe if he's just more efficient, and I just want to see him at times be aggressive. There's times where I want to see Matas get the ball and be like, no, this is, I'm taking this. It's mine. And then, obviously you want to see him play within the role of the offense or in the flow of the offense. But eventually, not this year, but eventually you want to see Matas be that primary scoring option because I believe he has what it takes to be the alpha. But you also have to be able to assert yourself on the court offensively if you are going to be the alpha. So I want to see just maybe shades of that mixed in, shades of that coming out. I will say it was very interesting in the summer league that they told Billy Donovan III, like, hey, make sure that Matas is initiating some of the offense, which that was very interesting to me. That tells me that the Bulls see a bigger role for Matas than just whatever he's doing in the flow of the offense. So I'm curious to see how that translates to the regular season because if they wanted to see that in the summer league, that tells me they have a little something for him coming up. But I don't know if it's going to be as full-fledged as the top or even the secondary scoring option, or if it's more just like we want you to continue to develop type of thing. So I'm as long as it's Matas developing and being more confident and adding more to his bag, I'm good with it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think I want to see Martis definitely have a much larger role offensively in terms with the scoring load. But I think primarily as long as he's adding something to his game offensively, we all know he's still got some work to do defensively. But in terms of his scoring output, I think if he can start to develop the breaking, because most of his shots were created off assists. Haize, I think you've seen that number before. So if he can start creating his own shot off the dribble, like breaking down his defender one-on-one, getting to the basket, or the step back threes, whatever the shot he creates is. Want to see him just start bringing that into his game a bit this year, and not be so solely reliant on having shots created for him.
Yeah, just for that number, over 80% of his buckets were assisted last year.
So we want to see that number come down even just a little bit, maybe like even just 70-60%, and then his own shot creation start coming up a bit. And if he can start adding that to his game next season, and then hey, come year 3, maybe that's when he becomes like the alpha offensively in year 3.
Yeah,
there's a possibility, and that should be the plan. Like, especially hearing that they wanted him to do more point forward things. I think that's a really big aspect. When I scouted Modest Buzelis before that draft, he was number 1 on my board. The first time I ever got the player that I had number 1 on my board being drafted.
I love that.
Is that I had him as he's the modern point forward prototype that you look at around the NBA, and if he continues to develop that, like we've seen in the NBA, like in the modern NBA, like if your forward can do some on ball creation for you and create for others, that opens up so much of your offense and matchups. Because then at that point you can put all shooters around him and have him be the hub. And if you can do that from the forward position, it makes just the game so much harder to defend when you have so many shooters out there. So we'll see if the Bulls can do that, man.
Yeah, and on that Vooch point that so I can't remember which one of you's made that. I think it was for you, Phil. You got to feed the big fella, because otherwise he starts, not being so happy on the offensive end. And I mean, I know, Haize, you're going to start watching the NBL a little bit more this upcoming season. We got one of those guys on my Adelaide 36ers team, Isaac Humphries, that he's one of those guys, if he doesn't get involved early and often, he's not a happy camper. And he's offensive. He starts disappearing offensively. His defense falls off a cliff, and it's basically game over if Big Ice doesn't get involved in the game early and often. Shout out to my guy Paddy. I know you guys have interacted with Paddy a fair bit. That's Ice is his guy, and obviously once my new other little podcast gets up and running, we'll talk a bit more NBL on there as well as yeah, that's I've got that situation here with the 36ers, and Vooch, I think he's one of those guys. I think every player on this team needs to be like, okay, I'm not getting my shots as much as I want or where I want them, but how am I going to affect the game in other areas? And I think Vooch needs to start with that as well. Like if he's not getting the shots he wants, I know he's not the greatest defender. He's basically a turnstile in defense, but have some impact defensively. Like have some sort of impact defensively.
The thing is Vooch is actually a pretty good on-ball center defender. Like on ball in the post, he's actually pretty good. The problem is, like, and I think it's a combination of things. Our perimeter defense is ass. So you're already going to put a player like Vooch at a disadvantage. And then on top of that, teams know that Vooch is bad, so they throw pick and rolls at him. And it's like, I don't know if Vooch can be any better defensively than what he is at this point in time. Like, he gives effort. It's just, he's slow, and he's not going to get any faster being over 30 at this point.
My uncle play concrete or something, or what?
my uncle coached high school basketball, and he made a point to me that I thought was pretty decent. He's like, if Vucevic tried to play his toughest defense every time down the court, he'd foul out every game. And I was like, that's actually not too bad of a point, because he is slow. So I guess he has to pick and choose his moments when he's giving his full effort out there defensively.
Now you just got me thinking, how many fouls a game does Vooch actually get? Because I almost feel like it's not that many.
Yeah,
I don't think Vooch does foul. I mean, it doesn't feel like it off the top of my head. I can look it up real quick, but I don't think Vooch does foul a lot game to game. I don't believe so, but I can look into it.
And maybe that's an effort thing. Maybe that's a conscious effort by him to not foul and whatnot. But I agree.
Yeah, Vooch averages 2.5 fouls per game for his career. He's only 2 years of his career has he gotten up to 3 fouls, and that was in 2013, 14, and 14, 15.
Okay, so I mean,
he's not one to get physical with that.
unless it's Jokic. Like
Yeah,
when
he's a
Jokic, if he
Jokic
played
stopper.
Jokic 82 games, he'd be a top 5 defensive center in this league.
Oh, facts.
Yeah,
What? Yeah.
the Jokic stopper.
Oh, that stat's crazy. Like how like when he goes up against Jokic, he's a completely different player defensively. He can make Jokic look, I don't know, dare I say it, look average at times.
Yeah. They go out to dinner together. I was saying he's putting something in Jokic's dinner the night before.
He's got to be.
He's
Because like the way that Jokic goes out and absolutely, like, I dare say, Jokic is the best player in the world. So the fact that Vucevic can definitely more than hold his own against Jokic and actually slow him down quite a fair bit. It's he's definitely putting something in his food, or spiking his drink or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's legal in Illinois now, so maybe he's sneaking a little something in his meal, a little THC, allegedly. I don't know this for sure.
Hey, don't go down the THC route. And I'm not talking the drug THC either. Why the fuck was that guy on this team?
Oh, THC?
Because they did him a favor, bro. Like he could, and this is the thing. Oh my god, you're finna send me down a rant. All right, this is the only rant I'm gonna get. I'm gonna be chill after
Go for
this.
it. Floor is yours.
The fact of the matter that there were THT truthers all season long. Like people like I love him. Like we disagree on stuff, but he is a really smart basketball guy. But like Luke in the Discord, he's like, "Oh, THT is a walking bucket. A walking bucket? Somebody who's never been efficient at all? Like." Like I don't get where THT has these fans at. I'm so glad he's not on this team, and the people realize. You see, he hasn't. No NBA team assigned him. He's about to go be playing for the Guangdong Tigers over there with freaking like that's where he's gonna be at. I got so pissed off last year. It was Chris Duarte truthers and THT truthers. I'm like, if you're gonna stand for any player, those are the two that you choose. Come on, man.
And like anytime he actually, fucking Crystal Wise, but like anytime THC actually passed the ball, I almost fell out of my fucking chair.
Yeah,
I mean, this guy actually knows what a pass is.
Yeah,
man, I'm so glad he's not on the roster next season because if we had to deal with another season of that, I don't know.
What do you mean, man? THC isolation was feeding families. Sorry, I just had to see the reaction there. That's my bad.
The problem is that he was feeding himself. Did he feed his family at all? Because it looked like he was eating everything. Like there's no reason why me and THT should not have the same body type. That just doesn't make any sense for a professional basketball player to have that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the three Haize, THT, yourself, and me. Like, there's no way we should have the same body frame, and he's a goddamn NBA player. That's just ridiculous.
That's fair. It's fair. It's like it's like if Yuki Kawamura was my speed. That's not a thing. He's my height. He's my height. He is not my speed.
Now that you brought up Yuki, and Phil, I don't want to send you down a spiral with him, but I've already told you this before. I think I put it up in my Discord with this. Jerry Reinsdorf is already cashing in on Yuki Kawamura. Like you can buy, even here in Australia, you can buy his jersey. The guy's a 2-way contract player. I had to get Lockie Ulbrich, my fellow Australian boy. I'm from the northern suburbs of Adelaide. He's down from down south. Mm-hmm. I had to get a custom-made jersey of Lockie Ulbrich. You can just flat out buy Yuki Kawamura's jersey. You cannot tell me Jerry Papa Reinsdorf is not cashing in on that shit.
No, bro, absolutely. Like the moment, like don't get me wrong, there is a basketball reason Yuki's here too, right?
Oh yeah,
and I hope that the basketball reason was the first thing, but best believe, no matter if it was the first or second, as soon as AK was like, yeah, we got this kid that we're gonna bring over. He's from where? Oh yeah, sign him. We got the jersey printed up right now. I guarantee you, bro. He may have the first city edition jersey out. He's not even gonna play on the actual Chicago Bulls, bro.
Shit, yeah, because I did a bit of browsing on the NBA Australia store, straight to the Chicago Bulls section, and that is literally the first thing I see is Yuki Kawamura jerseys.
That's crazy.
I
That's
mean, so
crazy.
no, and this is where Jerry Reinsdorf. One thing I'll say about Jerry Reinsdorf and being tight with money, or all he cares about is making money, is that, as you have said, Haize, yes, he spends up the salary cap, he just doesn't go into the luxury tax. That part I personally just don't give a shit about. It's the off court spending on the coaches, the training staff, everything that he can spend is probably. I mean, now, Haize, you can correct me if I'm wrong in this because you probably have more knowledge of the background stuff with, if there's any salary caps or something with coaching staff and the training staff and all that sort of stuff. He can probably spend as much money as he wants on coaches, development staff, like athletic trainers, all that sort of gear, and it just doesn't seem like he does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, and see, this is the thing. I don't know if that's a Jerry thing or that's an AK thing. I don't know how that hierarchy goes. Like we created a whole player development department, and it's funny because I think a lot of Bulls fans think that's the norm. The Bulls are like one of like 6 teams that have a department just focused on player development. But we got that. I don't know if that was a Jerry thing, if that was an AK thing. I don't know how that worked out. But it does seem like the Bulls, like we have a state of the art facility. The Advocate Center is state of the art, so we have that. But to me, and this is the first time we've done this, getting Dan Craig and Wes Unseld is great. There's no salary cap on your coaching staff. There's no reason why. For example, Taylor Jenkins isn't a head coach right now. I would be knocking down his door and saying, hey, can you want to come over to the staff? Like, just off shits and giggles. Like, those are the type of things that I do think that the Bulls fall short on. Firing Peter Patton because he didn't share the same vision and mindset with Stupid too. Like, the Bulls are cheap in areas. The luxury tax isn't the biggest one, but it is the other facility things around the team for sure.
For sure. Now, Haize, I know you probably got to go pretty soon because the Chicago Sky are on tonight. Well, this morning for me, obviously. So we'll put, and we've been running for like 50 minutes already. So we'll wrap it up with this because obviously want to get you out of here, make sure you're on time with Chicago Sky Central. How do we see the Bulls season unfolding this year?
Oh, I got them anywhere between 40 and 42 3-ish wins is where I have this team. I know that's not common thought, but I look at it this way. They won 39 games last year. Yes, there was a spurt at the end of the year, but I think people forget too, we started off the season with the second or third hardest schedule in the NBA. So if that balances out, like just a more balanced schedule, we have a roster that fits better together more naturally as far as skill set. And you're building off a year of Josh Giddy and Kobe's chemistry. Modest is coming into year 2. Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins, those guys are going to have a training camp. That's why I'm glad that they did get Isaac Okoro when they did. He can have a training camp with this team. Io's coming back from injury as well. I just don't see where this team has gotten worse at. So because of that, I think that we're going to win a few more games next season.
For sure. Phil?
Yeah, I think that's about right. I think that we're gonna. I think we're gonna end up above 500. I don't know why. I don't have a great. Like Haize said, I don't think we got worse anywhere. I think that we're gonna improve with all of our young players. So, and I don't think that the end of last season was some fake mirage where everyone laid down for us. I think that we're probably a little bit worse than that, than 15-6 to end the year. But I feel like I feel like 45 wins is maybe where I'm at. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but I think we end up over 500, which would be big for this franchise.
Absolutely.
No, for sure. I think we can definitely hover around that 500 mark this year. Like you both said, we haven't gotten weaker in any aspects. In some cases, we've actually probably gotten stronger. Case in point I'm going to make is the Lonzo Ball, Isaac Okoro trade, where just now, I'm not going to say that. I'm definitely not saying that Isaac Okoro is a better player than Lonzo Ball. He's not. Lonzo Ball, when he's healthy, he's a great player. But where I'm going to say we make the improvement is that at least Isaac Okoro is actually going to play. He's actually going to be on the court. He's not going to be rehabbing injuries. And like massive shout out to Lonzo for coming back after 2.5 years out with that knee. And like, who would have thought? We probably all thought his career was done and was dusted. See you later. Like once that contract was up, we'll never see Lonzo Ball again. So massive shout out to him for coming back. And unfortunately, this last season, it was basically that wrist injury that really cost him his year because like he injured it once and then they came back and then he's clearly redone it again, and then that ended the season. So shout out to Zoe for that. But yeah, we definitely take a step up as a team just by the sheer fact we've got a body that's actually going to be on the court. And
The fact that we got Isaac Okoro for Alonzo Ball at all is actually a minor miracle.
yeah, and like I know obviously we can go back to the trade deadline where we had that offer from Memphis, I believe it was, where it was Marcus Smart and what ended up being the number 18 pick.
Yeah,
Yes, the Bulls should have taken that deal. That
yeah.
is not in dispute whatsoever. But the Okoro for Lonzo Ball trade in a vacuum is actually a great deal. And the people that are complaining that we didn't get any draft conversation for it, it's like we just got a player who's actually going to play and trade away a guy who has played 70 games in 4 years.
Yeah,
70 games in 4 years, and you're having a bitch that we didn't get any draft conversation for that guy. Like, yes,
yeah.
we should have got that. We should have done that deal at the trade deadline. Again, that's set in stone. We all know that. But the Okoro deal, you're complaining that we didn't get a pick for that in that deal. Like, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I seen a Cleveland beat guy talk to, I think it was Casey, and tell him that like he believes that Isaac Okoro can have an Alex Caruso type of impact in terms of his perimeter defense. He believes that when Okoro gets more respect as a veteran, that his physicalness on the perimeter won't be called foul. Like they won't call fouls as much. You know how Caruso gets that respect where he can be very physical on the perimeter and nobody calls a foul. He believes that if Okoro gets that same respect as a veteran soon, that he can have the same type of impact, which I thought was a pretty notable thing for a Cleveland beat guy to say. So I hope that's the case because that'd be huge.
Has you got anything to add on that one?
No, I mean I agree. I think Phil hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, I mean there's nothing really to add on that one. When Phil cooks, he cooks.
Thank you.
He cooks. He cooks.
Appreciate that, brother.
And all right, so we're approaching an hour now, and Hayes, obviously you got to go. So one thing I will actually end this on. Shout out to my guy or our guy Alejandro, local Bulls fan, who we had that little discussion with in my Discord. If you're not in the Discord, come join us in there at Whole Lotta Bull. You can just ask any of us for an invite. We'll link it in. But now Alejandro, and now hopefully I'm looking down the camera properly. Josh Giddy is a point guard. It doesn't matter that he's 6'8". He is a point guard.
He is a point guard. He's a point guard.
I mean, Magic Johnson. Did you see that he tried to say that Magic Johnson isn't a point guard because he played center in the finals? Kareem was injured.
That whole conversation that day. And I love Alejandro. Like I want to be clear there. Like love the class act of a guy.
Dude's awesome. I love that guy.
But and it's just because like one of the things you get jaded because like a lot of people like every time we talk about point guards, like somebody always leaves a comment in my channel. It's like, why are we listening to Josh Giddy as a point guard? Isn't he small forward? Shut the fuck up. Sorry, Troy, but it's like just come on, man.
Hey, mate, like I said, like if you curse, you curse. I don't give a shit. I've done it several times in this pod already.
Yeah, man.
That's like saying Magic Johnson's on a point guard. Like he's the greatest point guard of all time, and he's 6'9".
Listen. I don't know who needs to hear this, but height does not determine your position on a basketball court ever. Who was it? The dude PJ Tucker was what, like 6'5", and he's playing center. I mean,
yeah. BJJ 6'5", and Billy D had him playing center.
I had somebody tell me that Zion can't play center. Yes, he can. Is he short? Yes, but it doesn't matter. The height doesn't matter where you line someone up on a basketball court. Yeah, I don't know who needs to hear that, but that's just a fact.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Again, guys, thank you so much for jumping on and joining me to get this the YouTube channel started. What a way to get what a way to get this going with you guys jumping on and doing this with me. So, guys, like Haize, Phil, thank you again so much appreciated, guys.
Appreciate
Anytime.
you. This is a great
Now,
time, man. Anytime.
so Phil, now both of you guys, but just for the if you guys are following me on Twitter, you know where to find these guys. But Phil, where can they find you, and what are you working on, man?
You can find me at JAYC Phil or at JAYCHI_Bulls. The first is my personal, the second is my Just Another Year Chicago Bulls work. You can find me on YouTube or on X, and I'm usually talking ball or talking Bulls. I have some other stuff going on, but if you go to my personal, you can find that there too. But really, I'm just here to talk ball, man. So if you guys are Bulls fans, you can find me at any of those places, and also if these handles show up on your episode, they're right here on screen for you. So
Absolutely.
You guys can check me out at Chicago Bulls Central or at CEO Haize on every podcasting app and platform. I keep my username the same everywhere. So if I want you to find me, it's at CEO Haize. It's very simple to find me. If it's something else somewhere I don't want you to find me, don't hit me up. If you see me somewhere else, my username's different, don't talk to me. I don't want you to talk to me because there you go. But no, I'm talking Bulls, man. You can find me on Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central, Locked On Bulls, man. Basically, this is what I do for a living. So.
So Haize, so what you're saying is, when it comes to your stuff, any way that they want it, you can get it.
Okay.
No, I had to do that one, man. No, again, much appreciated. And yeah, to wrap it up with you guys, or everyone can follow me at Whole Lotta Bull, or personally at Bulls_Troy. Do have something else in the works coming down with Whole Lotta NBL, which I'm going to be talking about the NBL. And I know, as you can't wait to tune in with the NBL season coming up. We've got some preseason games starting in about 9 or 10 days, and the actual regular season proper starts in about 40 days. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in and catching this first YouTube episode of Whole Lotta Bull. So until next time, Bulls Nation, SeeRed, be good. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.